We are now live on YouTube and Facebook. Commissioner, you have the floor.
In attendance this afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Audit Committee of the Public Building Commission of Chicago held today, July 2, 2026 at 1:30 p.m. at the Richard J. Daley Center. Executive Director Gitteroff, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Whitley.
Here.
Commissioner Randall.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting held on September 3, 2025.
Move to approve.
Motion approved and accepted. The next item on the agenda is the public participation in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Registered speakers will be allowed 2 minutes to provide comments. Are there any?
No speakers today, Chairman.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report of or by the Director of Finance, Tanya Future Weekly. And we're now in your hands.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I will be presenting the Public Building Commission of Chicago's draft annual comprehensive financial report, or ACRA, for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2025. We anticipate the submission of this final report to the GFOA by July 31st, 2026. At our last audit committee meeting, we approved a new audit team, Clifton Lawson Allen LLP, CLA, to provide audit services to the PBC. This is the first year of the agreement, which covers an initial 3-year term with the option to extend up to 3 additional 1-year terms. CLA has used the services of Prada and Renteria to meet the MBWB subcontracting participation requirements for the engagement. Today, we have Adam Pulley, principal from CLA, representing the audit team, and he will give a report later on the agenda. The report, as prepared in accordance with the United States Governmental Accounting Standards Board, GAS, and meets all requirements of the state of Illinois. The PBC believes this report is accurate in all material respects and is presented in a manner which has set forth the financial position and results of operations of the organization for the fiscal year 2025. Periodically, new accounting standards are issued, which the commission is required to evaluate its potential impact for the financial statements. For this year, the PBC evaluated GAS Standard 102 certain risk disclosures. Based on our evaluation along with the audit team, this GASB statement's effect was deemed immaterial to our financial statements as a whole. Now we could open our books to page 7.
C1.
C1.
Thank you.
Where we will look at the actual condensed financial statements. In 2025, the Public Building Commission of Chicago continued to prove that public infrastructure can be innovative, efficient, community-centered, and believe it or not, even exciting. The commission had total assets of $189.5 million in 2025, and total liabilities the commission were $123.8 million. $0.4 million. The assets of the commission exceeded the liabilities by approximately $65.4 million on December 31st, 2025. Of this amount, $47.5 million was included in net investment and capital assets, and $17.9 million was restricted for use by the Daley Center and for the commission's operations. The commission's total net position increased by $0.7 million for the year ending December 31st, 2025. Our projects completed in 2025 total more than $60.2 million in capital improvement projects across the city, including critical capital renovations at public libraries and health centers, and WPE street reconstruction and alleys. Each of these projects represent our unwavering commitment to excellence. As a result of these critical investments, the PBC is reporting operating revenues on page 8, which represent $140.3 million, a $20 million increase over our 2024 revenues. 2025 was also a year of diversification. The PBC expanded its portfolio across transportation, public safety, community facilities, environmental infrastructure, and recreational improvements. This diversification strengthened our ability to serve multiple agencies while continuing to refine project delivery processes and maximize value. Signature accomplishments included our continued implementation of CWPA street reconstruction projects, completion of multiple alley reconstruction initiatives, improving neighborhood accessibility, major progress on our 2FM capital improvement plan projects, facility improvements supporting public safety and resident facilities, restroom rehabilitation projects for the forest preserves of Cook County, expanded sustainability measures across new and renovated facilities. Each project reflected the PBC's commitment to accountability, innovation, and community impact. Collaboration remains central to our success through enhanced partnerships with our sister agencies, elected officials, contractors, professional service firms, community organizations, and educational institutions. The PBC continued building more than facilities, we built connections. Each project underscores our dedication to excellence, collaboration, and transparency, the principles that guide our work and strengthen our partnerships with stakeholders. During 2025, we also, at the year December 31st, of this year, the commission identified an error in previously issued financial statements related to our accounts payable. The error resulted in an understatement of the beginning net position as of January 1st, 2025. Accordingly, our net position has been restated to correct this error. On page 8, you can see where we have a $2,761,454 restatement for our net position to increase our end of the year net position to $65,365,679. Our fiscal management demonstrates how we remain committed to our stewardship of the public fund through exemplary cost and schedule control. I would personally like to thank the audit team for their hard work, as well as my team for ensuring our report is complete and ready for a presentation today. Thank you. This concludes my report to the commissioners.
So the final report, thank you for your hard work and along with your team. Can you just explain a little bit further about the restatement due to correction of an error?
Yes. So as we had deep dive into our review of our financial statements, it was notated that project accruals were not automatically reversed from prior fiscal years, specifically from our fiscal year 2018. We noted that our AP had remained overstated. That what should typically happen is that each year we book project estimated accruals so that we ensure that we have matched all our costs for work that was completed in the current fiscal year with the expenses that have occurred in that fiscal year. Many times we have a lot of our contractors who are delayed in submitting their payments. So we do an estimate. Based off the estimate, we have to reverse it so that when the actual payments come in at the close of fiscal year in question, we did book those, but as of the beginning of the next fiscal year, those were not properly automatically reversed from our financial system as they should have been. So we have identified those, and that is where, in conjunction with our audit team, who also pointed those out to us, we have corrected that and restated our financial statements to increase our net position. When we look back at our fiscal year 2019, we did report a decrease in our net position in that year, when in fact we would not have had an increase. I could only say that this is fiscal year 19's audit report was done during the middle of the pandemic, and perhaps during our audit season at that point, we did have a number of delays and things that occurred, but there still should have probably been identified earlier than today.
Sure. Thank you. Was this an error that our internal team caught, or
It wasn't.
auditor? The
auditors pointed it out, so we did a deep dive into our reconciliation of that account and was able to through the deep dive research, I specifically identify, based on their reconcilement of our current year accounts payable and not being able to tie it out to that, is where we identified that there were prior year accruals where that account should have been zeroing out. It was not effectively zeroing out as it should have.
but working together.
Yes, and again, I can only state that due to it being a new contract, and really wanted to get into the deep dive of our accounts. Because of the new audit transition, as you know, we had auditors for 20 years. And so this identified, and through this year, which is also why we extended out to July 31st, so that we can ensure that the team is able to get a really good understanding of the PBC, but also allowed us to get into the weeds where we haven't been in the past within our own accounts, and being able to, enhance and pull together some additional internal controls that we need to do when it comes to reconciling our accruals and ensuring that they are properly reversed and getting to where we need to do so. We, again, also are very happy with this. Also happy that the restatement is actually increasing our net assets, which is, even, more beneficial to the PBC and where we are standing and where we're at, because as you all know, we have gone through some very lean years, and, we're notating a large number of decreases in net assets. So being able to come back and circle around to this and see where we're at is really a good thing. And, we want to be able to present solid financial information.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Don't have any other questions. Move to accept the report.
Report is accepted. The chair recognizes at this time, or the next item, my apologies, on the agenda is a report from Clifton Larson and Allen LLP. Bring your hand, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. My name's Adam Pulley with Clifton Larson Allen, principal in charge of the audit this year. Honestly, Tanya did a very good job of very comprehensive overview there and touched on some of the things I was going through. So I just have a few slides for you. Probably won't take very long here, but I'll jump right to the first slide here. Well, I guess before I get into the slides, I should say, Tanya mentioned a little bit about the timing, I guess a little more in depth on where we're at from the audit side. I've been through my review of the financial statements, the initial review, as well as the work papers. So now it goes to what we call a quality or unassociated review, somebody else from our firm that's from a national level that'll look over it. So it is draft form, subject to change. We don't anticipate that, but nevertheless, so that's where we're at there. And then we'll be on time to issue by the end of the month.
Thank you.
So getting into the first page here, second slide, really the audit process, it's a risk-based approach. We get together as a team, based on our experiences, what we know of other governmental entities, looking at your financial statements and get a broad sense of where we think we want to spend more of our time, right? And so these boxes here tend to be where we anticipated initially spending more of our time. This is not a full comprehensive list. Needless to say, kind of in our first year, we probably dig in and ask a few more questions than maybe we otherwise would, because we're trying to get to know the commission, right? And the commission's trying to get to know us. So there is a little bit more to it. And really probably that one on the lower right, Tanya already talked about kind of the restatement piece, but when we started looking at the accounts payable and expenditures, that's where we were, asking a little more and working together, working collaboratively to get down to the right answer. So a little bit of a high level overview there. I'm going to go to the next page. So here's what we anticipate issuing, when it's all said and done. We do anticipate issuing an unmodified audit opinion. In other words, a clean audit opinion. That is the best audit opinion that we can give. Tanya already noted the accounts payable restatement. So we will have sort of a separate write-up about that that we'll be issuing in what's called an internal control letter. And then there is also what's known as an uncorrected misstatement. So kind of in the similar vein as the accounts payable that we just talked about, there was some accrued vacation that was old and just hadn't been reversed. The reason why it is an uncorrected misstatement is because the dollar amount is significantly smaller, but nevertheless, it was still large enough that we just wanted to point out to everybody, to governance, that, hey, this was there, but it's getting corrected and kind of flowing through the current year, so it won't be an issue going forward. It's not a material item. It doesn't impact our audit opinion, but auditing standards tell us that we do have to, we'll note that and put that in writing. So that's what that item is. Okay. And next page, again, I think we kind of already touched on this, but besides the financial statements themselves, we will be issuing a couple required communication letters. I already mentioned the internal control letter for the accounts payable item. I have a bullet there for IT recommendations. These will not be in written form. We have our specialized IT team come in and perform some procedures, and you know, it is very common for them to come across like, oh, consider this. We have some recommendations, whether it's around review of access of individuals or passwords, things like that. So those are things that we have communicated with management, just as a separate side note. So that's that. Lastly here, the governance letter. So this will be a letter that we issue that it's really our opportunity as the auditors to express to governance if we came across any significant disagreements with management, any difficulties during the audit. For the most part, it is boilerplate language. It will note that past adjustment I talked about, as well as the restatement. But fortunately, there were no disagreements or difficulties in dealing with management. Honestly, working with Tanya and her team has been great. And I'm glad it was mentioned earlier that it really is working in tandem, right? And so, you know, Tanya asked questions of us. We try to be responsive, be on top of that. Obviously, we have questions of Tanya and the commission and that team, and they've been very responsive to our requests as well. And when we were investigating or first brought up the payables or looking into that restatement, there was not any sort of defensiveness behind it. It was an attitude of, oh, let's dig in, let's make sure that we understand this and have it corrected going forward. And that's, I mean, that's commendable and hugely appreciated. So we very much thank Tanya and her team for that collaboration. That's really all I had for you all. Very high level, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
None from me, none from me. Thank you for your presentation.
Of course.
Move to accept the report.
Report is accepted. The chair recognizes Executive Director Gitterhoff, who has requested to make a brief statement at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to do that before we adjourn. Just a couple of thoughts about, you know, where we are and where we're heading. Obviously, as we recognize the completion of this audit report, once again, I commend Tanya and her entire team and our partners at CLA, Adam, specifically you. Thank you for your unwavering support. Chairman and Commissioner, thank you. Your guidance is always key to our success. During our board meeting, you'll hear a little more information about our work that we completed in 2025 that we are actually very excited about. And we wouldn't be able to do that without our partners. I think enhancing those partnerships and reestablishing our position as a value add to all of our partners, municipal, county, and otherwise, including new work opportunities with other municipalities, as you heard during the last board meeting with IGAs, with municipalities that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to work with. And then just highlighting some of the success stories, not PBC success stories, but all of our partners, architects, engineers, and contractors that helped us achieve the projects that we completed last year that Tanya referenced. That's a big deal for us. Not because these are MBE firms, WBE firms, or otherwise, but because all of our partners happen to be MBE or WBE for the most part, but they're capable and able to compete for the work on a level playing field, awarded the projects and manage the projects throughout completion. So for that, we're really excited and our future is bright. Thanks to our board Chairman, Mayor Braden Johnson, and all of you, and specifically this audit committee and our partners at CLA now. So just a few words. I'll have a lot more to say during our board meeting, but wanted to thank you both. Tanya, thank you. Adam, thank you very much. That concludes my brief statement.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I just want to just say before offering up a motion, I just want to recognize Tanya and her team working with a new audit firm. So there's additional work that goes on there. And as was referenced, getting to know each other and understanding our organization and us understanding you. So thank you for that work. And I do think there's value in changing teams periodically. We did the last team was very strong as well, but it's a, you know, fresh set eyes is always lends a different view. So really appreciate that too. But thank you for your work.
Thank you.
All right.
I concur.
All right.
Thank you.
I move to accept the report.
All right, and second that, and it's been moved. Thank you all. The meeting is
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. My apologies.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All right, we good?